Well, actually, it happened when I was 19, when I saw the blue being. But getting established in self-realization and complete disidentification, that was 1985. And it happened on a retreat with my guru at the time, Guru Rajananda Yogi. I was doing seva. I was setting the table for the dinner with him and his meditation teachers. And I just got overwhelmed with the shat in the room, so I sat on a chair and meditated. And then I passed out. And I came back to awareness like 20 minutes later. Somebody else had set the table, and I hadn't heard a thing. And I was crying and in a semi-hysterical state. And I just wanted to see my guru. So I went and knocked on his door. And I came into his room and sat on a chair next to him. And he asked me what my name was, and I did not have a clue. Because at that point, Yan was dead, was gone. There was no Yan anymore. Then he asked me how old I was, and that was an even more ridiculous question. It was ridiculous because the self is timeless. It has no age. So I thought if I count the years back to my birth, I could give him an approximate answer that might satisfy him. But I didn't stop at my birth. I went past life, past, and so on, a couple of thousand years back. So I said, Guruji, what do you mean this isn't me? And then he looked strangely at me and said, and pressed me here and held up his hand, and I was to look there. And I didn't feel a thing, but he was doing something. And there was one particular instance a long time ago, an event I had with a spiritual teacher. And I remember that it was very painful. And he turned his back on me and began telling the meditation teacher next to him about that very incident. And then he turned around and looked at me and said, "Do you remember?" And I said, "Oh, yes." Anyway, that was how it happened. He then sent me to bed at 8:30 in the evening, and I went to bed. And he came to me at night and did something, and in the morning, Yan was restored, and it just wasn't me anymore. Shiva. Shiva exists. But we use the word Shiva in two different ways. One is for the unmanifest, pure, in itself resting being. The other is for the supreme being, Ishvara. And when I say I met the blue being when I was 19, you can say I met Shiva.